Check. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Alright, we're gonna wait a little bit and wait till the Virgos get in here. I have not done a Virgo live stream in I don't know how long. Yes, Virgos, hopefully you are shining right now. Hopefully we are shining. Can y'all hear me? You guys hear me before I get started? Let me get my notes. Alright, cool. Hey, Virgos. Virgo placements. If you don't have Virgo placements, that's okay. The eclipse is still going to affect you somehow, somewhere in the Virgo house in your chart. But we're going to talk a little bit about Virgo moon. We're going to talk a little bit about the eclipse, and then we're going to get into the reading. All right. So let's talk about this. All right. Let's talk about this eclipse that we have happening tomorrow, 24 hours. Wait, no, not even 24 hours. Tomorrow at 3:33 a.m. So very, very, very early in the morning, we have the Virgo eclipse. That's why I scheduled this live stream for 3:33 Eastern Standard Time. Is the sound out? I think it's just you. Y'all let me know before I keep going if the sound cut out. But I don't think so. I know last time I was live, my stream was acting up. That was like right before Mercury went retrograde. But anyway, all right, you can hear me? Let's keep going. So yeah, 3:33 a.m. is when we have this lunar eclipse in Virgo, a lunar eclipse. So we got a solar eclipse, which was in Aquarius we had a couple weeks ago. And then we have a lunar eclipse. Solar eclipse is connected to new moon. Lunar eclipse is connected to full moons. But they're called eclipses because they're like new moons and full moons on steroids. They're very strong. They're very unpredictable. They can be very chaotic, and depending on how close your planets in degrees are to these eclipses is how personal it will feel for you and where it happens in your birth chart. Okay, but this is in Virgo, so mutable signs are likely to feel this energy the most. Any mutable signs with middle degrees, so like 10 to 15 degrees, you'll probably be feeling the effects the strongest. It can feel very personal, um, especially for Virgo placements right now. Very personal feeling of could be so many different things: pressure, anxiety, could be clarity, could be confusion. It just depends. It depends. Okay. It depends on so many factors, which is why, you know, booking personal readings or getting tailored insights to your chart matters, not just like the general overview. But we are going to go over with the cards the collective energy for Virgo and advice and what you need to hear in a moment. But lunar eclipses, full moons are meant for you to release, okay? Just remember, new moons are for manifesting, full moons are for releasing. But eclipse season is very touchy. You don't really want to play too much with the manifestation because it's just so unpredictable right now. It's just so strong. It's so all over the place. So you just want to just receive and be calm and open minded to whatever changes are happening, whatever intuitive downloads you're getting, because we are also in retrograde season, not just eclipse season. We had the same energy last year in March. We had a Virgo eclipse in March last year, and it was also retrograde season when we had the eclipse overlay. I think it was like Venus retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and eclipse season last year. It was a lot going on, but same concept. Similar themes from last year around this time may be coming back around, or maybe you're getting some closure on that from last year, last spring. Um, but yeah, the house you have Virgo in is getting a lot of releasing and changing and structuring, as well as if you have planets in Virgo, there's emphasis there on those planets. So for me, for example, Virgo Sun, eclipse on my sun. So there's things with my sense of self, my ego, right? If you have like a Virgo moon, your emotions getting some changes, emotional things being brought up. Rising, it could be your mindset, your physical body, Mercury, communication, thinking, the mind, Venus, relationships, Mars, your motivation, what drives you. It's just, correlated to the planet and what the planet represents for what the eclipse is, showing you maybe there's something you need to release in that area or make space for. Okay. So a lot of releasing. Also, being a South Node eclipse, South Node is about decrease, letting go, release. And this is the final eclipse that we have on, well, while the nodes. Let me be very clear about this because on Twitter it caused some confusion. This is the last eclipse while the nodes are in Pisces and Virgo. Okay, so the last eclipse in Virgo on this specific axis, because in the summertime, July, the nodes will move into Aquarius and Leo. All right, so we are going to have another Virgo eclipse next year, but we're not going to be on the Pisces Virgo axis anymore after this summer. So this is like the last big release with the South Node with the moon at the same time for Virgo energy. So after this, I will say Virgo placements, if you have been going through it for the last year, um, from this point forward, it should start to feel a little bit easier until the nodes switch. But then, we go into Aquarius and Leo. So if you have fixed placements and you have Leo or Aquarius energy, then there's another lesson to learn there. So it just never ends. It never ends when it comes down to astrology. There's always going to be something that's affecting you in some way, but some lessons are harder than others depending on the aspects, how close the degrees are, where it is in your chart. Um, so this was the axis of healing, a lot of healing mentally, physically, spiritually, and then when the nodes move into Aquarius and Leo, we're moving into like more of this self-expression types of lessons and embracing who we are and living authentically. And so if that's something that you struggle with there, then that will help you on that axis to push you into being more of yourself, who you are, who you're meant to be. Okay. So right now it's a great time to let go, cut cords, move on from draining situations. And like I said, mutable placements, you guys are most affected. Right now, Virgo being the main one, then we have Pisces, Sagittarius, and Gemini. All right. Before we get into the tarot, I want to give a quick shout out to my newest oil that I have here. This is my moon oil that I created. You can see it right here. It says moon ritual oil. So you would use this during full moons. You can use it during new moons. You can use it whenever. It can be used for manifestation. It can be used for releasing. It does not matter. But this oil, I just created this. That's my newest oil. Saturn oil is also one of my newer creations. If you're in your Saturn return, or if you struggle with discipline and responsibility, check out the Saturn oil. I also have a Mercury oil and retrograde oil. I got every oil now. I'm working on a lot of different oils for my collection, but check those out. Those are on my website, cosmicbronx.com, or on my Etsy. But yeah, all that's linked in the description box if you want to get into the oils. I have to get this Saturn. Yes, I was highly encouraging everyone to order the Saturn and Saturn return oils. I use mine every day. I use my own oils because I have started my fitness journey and I struggled with consistency prior. So I created an oil for myself to help me with the discipline to stay focused. And I'm about to be on my 4th week of my fitness journey, consistent eating, working out, active every day. So if you struggle with that, or if you have Saturn in Aries, you're on your Saturn return, check out the oil. All right. So now let's get into it, Virgos. Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North, South Node, or wherever you have Virgo in your houses. Let's get into your reading, what you need to surrender for this full moon eclipse. All right. Let's see, Virgos. What does Virgo need to surrender for this eclipse? What is Virgo? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North, South Node, Virgo house. Alrighty. Got 2 cards that came out. First card, surrender to silence. In quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. And then we have surrender to your intuition. Tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. So both of these cards are pretty similar, because with Virgo energy, Virgo is such a sign of thinking, mental. There's always something mentally happening here. Mental chatter, noise. So many things, busy routines, So right now it's telling you that you need to, if you want clarity, if you want messages, if you want insight to what's going on, you need to create more silence in your life. Where do you need to create more space in your life for there to be just no noise? There needs to be more grounding. There needs to be more meditation. If you're a Virgo placement that is always busy, always moving, I have to be very intentional about that for myself, creating space intentionally. Then this is your time to look at where you need some silence, where you need some downtime, where you need some peace of mind. Okay, now let's see, what is the biggest challenge right now for Virgo? What is the biggest challenge right now? This is my Age of Aquarius tarot. What is the biggest challenge right now for the Virgos? The High Priestess. Wow. The High Priestess is about intuition, and it's Pisces energy. So it's like hard to connect to the Pisces energy because the Virgo is blocked. Okay, so what's the solution? Ooh, I never got that card before. It's a lot of like different energies coming out. Let me get one more. What's the solution for the High Priestess for Virgos? The same cards. The same cards I put back in tried to come out. Alright. So this deck has different definitions and different kind of cards, so I'll read the book for those. But we got the High Priestess. Look how pretty the images are. We got the Blueprint. We got Galactic Souls. And we got the Event Horizon. I may not read all of these. I may read like 2 of them. Well, let's see what it says for the High Priestess in this specific book. The High Priestess, I already know that's connected to Pisces, of course. Hold on, y'all. Let me find it. Hierophant, Emperor, Hermit, Justice. You would think I would know the order of these after 7 years, and I don't. The World, Judgment, I passed it. Yeah, where is the High Priestess at? Oh, here it is. Okay. So the High Priestess is, I always connect it to the sign of Pisces, but it says Cancer here. So vigilant, goddess energy, wisdom, and intuition. Am I ready to trust my divine wisdom and yield my psychic intuition? I step into the divine goddess frequency and allow wisdom to be my divine compass. All right, this is the challenge. So the challenge is stepping into this energy, ignoring one's intuition, keeping secrets or choosing not to see the truth, the refusal to participate, choosing to stay quiet and still. So there's a moment where there is stillness needed, but then there's action that is taken, listening to your intuition. Okay, so we got two cards here regarding intuition and needing to silence the noise, and like I think it's about learning discernment over your anxiety versus your intuition, which is probably really hard for most of us Virgos, if I'm not mistaken. All right, I want to read um, the blueprint because that came out first. The blueprint. All right, so the blueprint says sign is collective, crown, and third eye. So you want to work on your crown and third eye chakra. And am I ready to debut my unique and innovative mind to the world? I am ready to embrace the extraordinary and formulate new ideas never before seen so that others may awaken to their own gifts and what they can offer the world. Honoring rarity and uniqueness, expressing our ideas of how we can collectively elevate, cultivating and mastering new creative expressions. Now, the shadow side of this is choosing to live by rigid systems which control the masses, allowing others' opinions about how you should live your life and overpower you. Okay, this card is about you being the blueprint and needing to listen to your intuition and how to move through the world. All right, so there is a release of the bad, well, not bad, I'm not gonna say bad, sorry, not bad, the more negative Virgo qualities right now that plague us, which is overthinking, anxiety, fear, right? Overextending, overcompensating, things like that, where we need simplicity. We need to just allow things to be instead of worrying so much. All right. So let's look at my Everything Oracle deck and see what is it that we need to listen to our intuition about. Exactly. What does Virgo actually need to listen to their intuition regarding? What does Virgo need to listen to their intuition about? What is Virgo's? Hold on. Hold on, Virgo. What does Virgo need to listen to their intuition about? Mm-mm. Communication. All right, so that's all that came out right now. So for those of you that this resonates for, take what resonates, leave the rest. I'll give different scenarios. You have they won't reach out, and then you have they miss you. So some of you may be thinking about somebody, and if not right now, maybe in the next few weeks, that you feel called to reach out to or speak to, or I don't know if it's like to make amends or to ask a question or to do something, but it's saying that you're intuitively you're feeling the call to reach out to somebody. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can be family, friend, a person you used to work with, whoever, right? They're not reaching out, but you feel called to reach out or to say something or to express yourself, right? To get into communication with somebody. Um, for more clarity, if you're not sure who this may be for you, letters in name E, P, F, or D, C, W, Y, or V can be letters here where somebody you were connecting with, you need to reconnect with, right? For whatever reason, and they're not going to reach out to you, but there's something there that needs to be spoken about, possibly, or I don't know, for everybody. It's something there. Okay, so there's that. You have communication here, so expressing yourself, your mind, the words you need to say is going to help you in different ways. Maybe heal or have closure and then be able to move forward. You have the truth will come out. All right. And then you have artists. Some of you are feeling called to be more expressive with your art, with your craft, and you're intuitively feeling the pull towards some type of craft or something you want to do. But maybe you have not done it yet, or maybe you haven't really stepped into that role for whatever reason. You also have new love. For some of you, there's either a new person that is trying to come in, or there's a new love for something that you're going to be developing when you follow your intuition regarding that thing. Okay. Anything else for Virgo before we look at the tarot? Anything else for Virgo? Crying or release, still angry or hurt. Okay. Some of you also are going to have a nice cry or a release of some kind because you are still holding on to some type of anger, some type of pain, sadness, hurt. And you have to be honest with yourself about that so that you can move on or move forward and let that go. Okay. Could be for somebody that lied to you, whether either you are lying to yourself about it affecting you or somebody else lied to you and you're still holding on to that. And that could be something that's also just blocking your intuition. Anger, I find, comes up a lot in these type of messages. So things like anger, anxiety, sadness, all those things that need to be like released and felt and released, they block other important feelings and they block healing. All right. So, and then you have self sabotage. So be careful about the anger or pain causing you to self sabotage in other relationships or in other ways. Alrighty. So there's that. What else is coming towards Virgo at this time? What else is coming towards Virgo right now? What else is coming towards Virgo during this eclipse? What else is coming towards Virgo placements during this eclipse? A lot of reversed. Is this? Hold on, let me see. I know some of them are upright. Maybe all of the cards just coming out reversed. What else for Virgo during this eclipse? The Devil, Five of Cups. Okay. I don't even know what's happening in the I don't even know what's going on here. There's just so many different energies. Let me get some clarity. All right, let's clarify first and foremost this Devil card for Virgo. Why is the Devil card here for Virgo? And the Five of Cups. Well, Virgo, it's I kind of feel like this for some of you you're like kind of afraid. For some of you it's like there's fear here of trusting yourself fully, trusting your intuition fully because, or just trusting a person or trusting a path because there's been like disappointment in the past, you know. Then you have the devil card, you have the five of cups, but then you have this lovers card right here. So I do feel like there's good energy around you. There's good connection here around you. Um, but I also think there's like confliction because it's like, okay, I feel like I can trust myself sometimes, or I feel like I want to lean into this connection. But I do see a lot of like back and forth because there's some stagnancy. Two of Wands, Three of Wands. A lot of I'm not sure. I'm not sure what is causing this. Like, let me see. What is causing the back and forth confusion for Virgo? What is actually causing this? What is causing this? Four of Pentacles. What is causing this? Eight of Wands, Queen of Swords. It might be like this. It's like too much logic. Is what I'm getting. It's like a too much logic energy. I didn't see any of y'all's comments until just now. It was like I had to scroll down. I'm sorry that I missed it. I was like, why is the chat so quiet? But anyway, all right, clarifying the Queen of Swords. Okay, so yeah, I feel like there's just a lot of logic and there's a lot of uncertainty and a lack of clarity. So you have the Queen of Swords, you have the Moon card here, and you have the Eight of Wands in reverse. So I think after this moon passes and there's a little bit more like silence and you can think clearly, you'll start to see like there's more clarity here. But I also think there just needs to be a slowing down first, and then you're going to be able to understand and see more clearly. But at the same time, yeah, logically, there's just too much thinking about what you need to do instead of trying to feel what it is that you need to do. Sound like oh yeah, I am doing general readings for Virgo placements right now. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, so yeah, the logic. That's pretty much what I'm getting from all of this is why it's hard to actually take steps forward. Like it's like you maybe even it's hard to connect to the feeling too. Like these cards are just all over the place. Like that's probably how you're feeling a lot of Virgo. This just like I've never seen so many different energies come out. Like there's just no cohesive storyline here. It's just like you feel something different every minute, like every 5 seconds. But like we said, going back to the beginning, the silence card, what you need to actually get in tune and touch with your emotions, surrender to silence. You don't have enough silence. You know, it's like when you're thinking or you're doing so many things or you hear so many people's opinions and so many, just so much, then how do you actually hear your own inner voice, right? So there has to be some distance from those things in order to fully process and feel. Because then once you can feel, then your intuition will tell you what to do. Because intuition is what? Very quiet. Quiet. You cannot, your intuition is not loud like anxiety, like fear, like anger. Those are loud emotions. Intuition is still, it's quiet. It's just a subtle knowing of what to do. And there's just not enough of that for you to be able to actually hear it. Okay? So, there's that. Now let's get some advice and see what is the advice for Virgos. How should Virgos, Temperance came out, how should Virgos be able to hear their intuition What does Virgo need to do to be able to hear their intuition better? I feel like I'm gonna have to go through these cards. I like to have my cards like upright, and then if they come out reversed, they'll take them reverse instead of them being mixed up like this. But anyway, what does Virgos need to do to hear their intuition better? Balance. What does Virgos need to hear their intuition better? Three of Swords reverse. You gotta be more in tune with your emotions too, Virgo. Why is the Three of Swords here in reverse? The Three of Swords in reverse for Virgo. Please clarify. Okay. That's all for now. A lot of swords came out with the Three of Swords, and the Lover's card reverse came out here. Okay. So, Pisces, you share an axis with Pisces. It's Virgo and Pisces, right? So, the shadow side of you kind of is Pisces. Like I look at opposite signs, the opposite sign of yours is always your shadow. It's the energy that you need to learn how to embrace, embody. Okay. So for Virgo, Virgo is a very logical type of energy, very much a thinker, very rational type of energy. You got this Nine of Swords here at the bottom, right? Nine of Swords. Under that's the Queen of Cups reverse. So there's just so much mental energy happening here. The mental energy needs a better outlet, right? You're mentally trying to feel your way through your feelings. You're trying to internalize, intellectualize your feelings, intellectualize, find these solutions for these emotions, for these problems, right? So the first card that came out when I asked how to better connect to your intuition was Temperance. This is Sagittarius energy. That can be more optimism, but that can also be patience and balance and just an overall better peace temperament day to day, just finding that zen because you might just be somebody that's not zen, just somebody who is kind of high strung type of energy a lot of the time. So finding that zen, finding your chill, right, to connect to your intuition. You got Two of Pentacles reverse, Knight of Pentacles reverse, Ten of Wands reverse. Ten of Wands reverse is somebody who's overwhelmed, burnt out, taking on too many responsibilities, too many projects, too many hours. It's like you're overextending yourself, overcompensating. Two of Pentacles also not having any control over your routines, your schedule, okay, your priorities, right? So, you have to find a better balance for your priorities. What is your priorities right now? Or, you know, I also feel like with the Lovers card in reverse, um, because there's like a disconnection from your heart, like love, your relationships are affected right now because of the balance is off with your relationships, or because you're pouring into so many different things. It's like you can't actually pour into the people that you want to give because you don't have anything to really give to them. Four Swords in reverse is restless energy. The Three of Swords in reverse, this can be, and to me with this spread, it's giving me that like there's trying to, hold on y'all, don't click off the video. Don't click off video because I know you're gonna get mad when I say this. But it's coming from a Virgo. because I know how we do. I know how we think. You know, when there is pain, when there is discomfort, when there is problems, when there's anything really, we, instead of sometimes wanting to feel that, we will go do what? We will go work, find something to do, find somebody else to help, find somebody to fix, instead of sitting with our own emotions, instead of sitting with our pain, instead of like actually dealing with what's going on beneath the surface. Let the views went down because I said that. I knew it. And they're like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that. You got to be ready to hear it because I don't want to hear it either, but it's true. You know, we will do different things to distract ourselves instead of deal with that. And it does catch back up to you. It does. The Knight of Cups is here as the advice, and so is the Three of Cups. This is friendship. Knight of Cups is learning to be more vulnerable, learning to be more open with your emotions. And when you have that flow, you connect better to your intuition as well. That's why the water signs, when you hear about intuition, there's a lot of connection to the water signs because the emotion is tied into the intuition. But yeah, so there is this blockage here because there's so much suppressing of emotions and feelings and distracting and running and avoidance, and it's just all over the place, but it's causing you to have these imbalances with your connection here, connection to others and connection to self. Okay, I want to clarify this Lovers card in reverse though. Clarify the Lovers in reverse for Virgo. The Lovers card in reverse for Virgo. The Five of Cups reversed. The Moon card reversed. The Two of Cups reversed. Then why is the disconnect here? How do we repair? How do we get back connected with Virgo energy? How do we get back connected here? The Queen of Cups reversed. Ten of Swords reversed at the bottom. It really boils down to coming back again to the emotions behind it and what are we resisting, letting go of, changing within us with this Death card in reverse. Two of Cups reverse, both of these disconnection from the love, disconnection from people. The Moon card reverse. We gotta be able to face our fears, to see things more clearly, to not be afraid of emotions, not be afraid of our feelings, not be afraid of, the things that we are, trying to prevent from happening in our lives, and just, face them, go with them, or see what is not working. Um, but it's kind of like, Virgo is a sign of service. Virgo is a sign of wanting to help, wanting to assist, but it's not always from an emotional place. It's from a more of like a mental place. It's a this is my responsibility place. This is my duties place. It's not like necessarily always like an empathy place. It's like this is my job. So with that, it's like taking on all these different jobs, and that becomes heavy, and you become disconnected from the emotion behind what it means to be a friend, a partner, a sibling, you know? And so, all this is tying back into your intuition, and finding the balance in your routines so that you can reconnect with your emotional side, because you've gotten kind of far away from it, Virgo. You've gotten far away from it, and it is coming back to bite. It is kind of coming back to haunt you in your connections that are suffering, or you're feeling disconnected from people, disconnected from yourself because of mental part of it all and taking on too many things. Page of Cups. This is about small doses of trying to reconnect with your emotions or with people, making some gestures, that show people that you care about them still. Not so much logic and, just doing things for people, but actually expressing love for people. All right, so these are like reverse. Hold on. All right, now I'm gonna pull some of the affirmation cards to end off for Virgos. Yeah, or become sick. Exactly. That happens too. That happens too. What's the affirmation for Virgo placements? What's the affirmation for Virgo right now? Communicate. Hey. Give freely. All right. I am love. Oh, look at the bottom. It says, I am love. I give love freely. I receive love constantly. That's important too. Okay. So the first card that came out was communicate. Honestly and directly, don't assume. Set your boundaries and remember it is okay to just say no. Thank you. I designed this sweater for my Virgo and Pisces group on Patreon. It is on Etsy. My Etsy shop, Mind Body Bronx. But yeah, Virgo. So there has to be some honesty here too, because communication is definitely key when it comes down to not only telling people that you care about them and that you love them, but also in your boundaries. Because sometimes I realize, like, as Virgos, we will just take on a lot of many roles and we just like assume the responsibilities for people, and we kind of allow people to become codependent upon us, and it does not help the relationship in the long run. It makes us like resentful, it makes us tired and exhausted. So, for some of you, it's either you've disconnected from your relationships altogether because your priorities are somewhere else, or you need to learn how to have better boundaries within your relationship and listen to your intuition, what is telling you. For some of you, it's not that not with everybody, but some connections, not that you need to completely separate from these people unless they're just abusive or toxic. There's some connections you have that just need you to be more honest about your capacity, about what you're willing to give and not give. Some of you don't know how to receive love. You know how to give out things. You know how to, there's like an intimacy issue there where you don't like to accept things, even though you may say you want people to do stuff for you, but like, how willing are you actually to receive it if people are trying to really give it to you? So there's self reflection there, as to why you feel disconnected, or, either you're not asking for the things you really need or you're not open to receiving them. However, it goes, communication, honesty, directly about your capacity, what you need, what you have, what you don't have, has to happen for you to feel connected to your relationships again. Because there's a lot of things that are far gone now, and you just are now seeing it with this eclipse. You're like, wow, I didn't realize I was so disconnected here, or I was overextending here. So that's what you need to focus on there. Give freely, support others, give expecting nothing in return. So again, with that card, with your boundaries here, if you're gonna give from a place where you know you have the capacity, and not because not overdoing it because you're expecting to get something in return. Like, sometimes we do end up giving with expectation of getting, whether it be love or some we've learned, a lot of Virgos have learned that you have to give something in order to receive love, or your worth comes from giving and doing for other people. So that's something to unlearn as well. And here it is right here. It says it in this card. You are enough. You always have been. You always will be. Release attachment to relationships plus achievements to feel worthy. I didn't even see this card until just now. Um, so those two cards are very, very interesting because it's like they are the same but also opposite. So kind of like the whole overarching lesson here with Virgo is like right now you're being asked to take a step back and observe. First, you need some silence, you need some time alone to hear and feel what it is. And you only can do that if you are willing to find some balance in your routines. And when you step back, you're going to be looking at everybody and everything, and you're going to say, wow, I feel taken advantage of, you know? So the Virgo eclipse is really shining a light because it's like Virgo is a sign of service and duties and giving to people, helping people. But you'll also see where you haven't been getting back what you feel like you deserve. That can make you feel upset. That can make you feel angry. That can make you feel resentful. You're like, wow, these people have taken a lot from me. But accountability, you still have to be accountable because not everybody forced you to do that. Sometimes you just gave because for whatever reasons you were giving. Um, you have to look at where you did not tell anybody that you couldn't give or that you wanted this or whatever it is, you know? But now you're seeing the pattern. The pattern is coming up where you're like, okay, this has to change. If I want to actually feel real love in my relationship, I want to really feel connected, I want to really have healthy balance here. I have to separate from feeling like I need to overdo these things in order to feel worthy and achieve in my connections. So that's really like a very big realization that you will have here. It's like some Virgos, it's like we don't always say no. We're strict in some ways, but in other ways we are not. So you may realize like you haven't been saying no, or you have been trying to do, take on more than you can, bite off more than you can chew, which is making you, for some, feel a little bit upset, a little bit taken advantage of, a little overlooked. But all of these things are like a ripple effect, like leading into seeing where it's off in work and seeing where it's off because Virgo is connected to routines. There's a routine in everything, even with ourselves. Some of you are like, I've gotten away from myself, So um, wherever you have Virgo in your chart, you will find that there's something off with the routine there, where it maybe needs more attention there. Maybe it needs less. Okay. So I'm glad we finally tied the whole message back because at first I didn't know what was happening. It was just all over the place, but I did see that disconnection from the relationships. And for some of you, it's because of these unspoken expectations, or you're not setting the boundaries, or you're not being vocal. You're just dealing with, you're just avoiding it or whatever it is, but you're coming face to face here with where you need the balance, you need the better routines. Okay, for you Virgo placements. So I hope you guys enjoyed that reading. It did get pretty deep, but I feel like it resonated for me as well. The replay is not going to be available right now, but if you are on my Patreon, either of my Patreons, my Bronxology or Mind Body Bronx Patreon is going to be up right away for you. You can rewatch it before the eclipse. All right. All that's in the description box. I think you can find it here. If not, you can find my Patreons anywhere, Twitter, Instagram, my link tree, wherever I'm at. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope it resonated. Happy eclipse. Make sure you do some journaling, get some silence. You'll figure out all this stuff I said. It'll click. And when it does, let me know. Okay? At me on Twitter, email me, whatever. Have a great day, you guys. Have a great day, chat. Don't forget to tap in with your oils too. Moon oil, Saturn oil, Mercury oil. You'll find it. All that. Mind Body Bronx. I am at Mind Body Bronx and Tarot by Bronx on everything.